How we getting on, folks? I suppose you're probably, wondering why I'm on here now today. I know there's no National Hunt racing on in Ireland now tomorrow, so you probably thought I was going to be taking the day off. I'm not. I'm going to keep, pushing forward. If you weren't following me tipster today, I'll just give you a brief summary that went through. We had one winner in the bumper. No, actually, two winners as well. Yiza as well. Uh, Both of them at fairly nice prices. We were in small profit there today, but the rest of them, bar one, ended up running on for a place of some sort. First of all, I want to say big congratulations to Alan King. I know he's still yet to ride a winner, but he gave the Seamus Fahy horse in the first race a very, very good run to finish on into second. I definitely think that horse is going to go on to do, bigger and better things, and hopefully, with the help of God, Alan King will be on his back now the next day, and he'll be able to get Alan his very first winner. But yeah, look at. I want to give this another bit of a plug. This is mainly what we're going to be focusing on now for the rest of the day. This here is the Hacked Up Road to Cheltenham 2021 season. You can find it on the Hacked Up Race and Gifts website, www.hackedup.co.uk. It's a brilliant book. I've had a small look through it already. There's some great facts there to boost our confidence in a few horses, or else throw them off onto a different sort more so than anything else. But we're not really going to use the book at the moment as of yet, considering like it's still a long ways away from Cheltenham. But the fact that I got a mention in the front cover, we may as well get the hype train going. I think it's the 15th of October, if I'm not mistaken, the 14th or the 15th. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but we're going to get the hype train going for Cheltenham next March. We're going to focus on four races, the four champion races. That's the Champion Hurdle, Champion Bumper, Champion Chase, and the Gold Cup. They're really the highlights of the festival itself. It's what everyone is drawn to. Maybe not so much the Champion Bumper as such, but it's still a champion race nonetheless. And it's produced some very, very good horses as well at the same time. But we may as well kick things off. We're going to start things off now with the Champion Hurdle for 2021. A quick run through of the current prices. I'm going off the Bet365 betting app. It's the one that I use, and I do find that the prices there are more often than not one of the best places to go for good value. First of all, Epatante, is starting off favourite here at 7-2. She's the reigning champion at the end of the day. But I think she might just be vulnerable to another sort. But saying that, she should run a fairly decent race, and she definitely isn't without her chance again for doing back-to-back champion hurdles. Abacadabra then at 5-1. It's definitely a decent looking sort. It was a very good novice last year. It should go on to become a very decent graded hurdler as well, and definitely not without a chance either at the same time. Then we're going to go on to Goshen, currently trading around 8-1. Personally, I think this horse is an unnatural talent at the end of the day. All you have to do is look at his hurdle runs, forgetting about the couple of flat runs he's had already this season. I definitely think he's definitely the one to beat, and he's definitely, personally speaking, I think he's the best value out of the whole lot in the field here now. Currently. Then San Ra, another decent horse. He's trading around 10-1, but I think he's more, in terms of potential, I think he's more, a higher end handicapper horse, more so than, Group 1 or grade 1 level. I don't think, well, he probably will go there, but I definitely think he'd have a better chance in another race personally. But Siskin then 12-1. I would avoid this horse simply because I definitely think it's more suited to going over chasing fences this year, and I think that's the route that Nicky Henderson is going to go with him. 12-1 isn't really great value. Personally speaking, I'd wait until I see what way Siskin is going to go before I'd absolutely get involved at 12-1. Honeysuckle, decent sort, but at 16-1, I think she is. No, 12-1. Yeah, it sort of reflects what she is. She's more than likely going to stay going over. I suppose focusing more on the mare's hurdle more so than anything else. I definitely think she would have a decent each way if she turned up in the champion, but no, I don't think she will. Personally speaking, I think oh, I think it's Ken Alexander. The owner is, I suppose, more in favour of her doing back-to-back mare's hurdles more so than going for a champion now. Envoylen 14-1. Avoid at all costs. He is going chasing this year. He's going to be turning up, I think, next month in Downryle over fences. So 14-1. It's not worth your money. He simply won't be going here at the end of the day. Sharjah 16-1, third last year, but it definitely looks to be a very, very decent race compared to last. I don't think it's going to run out the same form as it did last year. And personally speaking, I would be avoiding it. What else is there? Bouvier at 16-1. This one has to be considered as a good each way in this one, but the fact that it's getting on in life and the fact that it hasn't raced a hell of a lot, and another thing is that the horse has just been absolutely plagued with injury, you'd have to have your doubts. If he was turning up on the day, I definitely think I'd be sticking an each way on him, especially if he stayed out around that price. But in terms of getting on board with him now, you'd be risking more than what you'd be, I suppose, getting in reward. In terms of the overall aspect of the race, I definitely think that Goshen is your most likely winner in this race. I know I was looking through the facts and figures on the Hacked Up Racing book, and it does speak against him, but I don't know. I just think this horse is something seriously, seriously special. I know he's only going to be 5, and I think the average age for the last, 12 winners is 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. I could be totally wrong with that. I haven't looked into it too much detail, but yeah, I definitely think in terms of age, he'd have a better chance if he was more mature. But the fact that he's still young is unbelievable. Don't forget now, Goshen is not a flat horse. He's a dual purpose horse and much better over, I suppose, hurdles than he is on the flat. I think he's only rated something like 80 or into the high 80s on the flat when he's rated in excess of 100 and I don't know what he's actually rated over hurdles. He's probably rated over 140 anyway at least. And has the potential to be a 160, 170 hurdle horse at the end of the day. He is just a beast, is more of a, I suppose, a better word to describe him at the end of the day. Yeah, these runs on the flat, I think they're more fitness runs more so than anything else, and just to, I suppose, shake off the cobwebs of last year's Cheltenham Festival. When you're looking at that Cheltenham Festival, like, he was absolutely hosing up. At the end of the day, he was most likely going to be the most impressive winner of the Cheltenham Festival that year. He was pulled well clear of the field. All he really had to do was clear the last, and even if he made a slight mistake while Jamie Moore could hold on to him, he was still going to win by 15-20 lengths easily, without a shadow of a doubt. At the end of the day, look at 8-1. If I was having a bet on him, and I have to admit I already am on him since last year's Cheltenham Festival, I think he was in around 10-1 that time, but he's 8-1. I know he was backed into, I think, threes, and then he was backed out again to sixes. Now he's out to 8. After I suppose his runs on the flat, but really and truly, I definitely think that this Goshen, once he goes over hurdles, this horse will be a force to be reckoned with. I don't really like tipping up English horses for Cheltenham simply because I am such a lover of Irish racing, and I try and make so many, I suppose, reasons for Irish horses winning at Cheltenham, but at the end of the day, we have absolutely nothing in the lines of a horse even close to Goshen. And I don't think England does either. Epatante, she will be getting her mare's allowance, don't forget, and that will definitely play into her hands more so than Goshen's, but she would want to have a serious bit of boot about her to even keep tabs on Goshen here. Really and truly, I think 8-1. Yeah, if you're going to be having an anti-post bet, I would be putting it on maybe the night before his first run over hurdles. Simply because the fact that he is an unstoppable force over hurdles. There isn't a hurdler in the country that I can honestly think that's even going to come close to putting it up to him. Once he wins over hurdles, that price is going to absolutely diminish. It's going to shorten right up, and 8-1 will be gone into 4-1, 3-1, 2-1. You could be looking at even money by Christmas at the end of the day. If he gets 3 or 4 runs, there's no reason why, if he wins those 3 or 4 runs, that he is going to be absolutely even money for the champion hurdle next year. At the end of the day, you have to take his jumping into consideration. He improved seriously for his jumping. Like, you take into consideration his debut run over hurdles. That horse, I was saying he was going to be the nag of the festival. He was starting off in air, and he could end up down in Fontwell or wherever. He could even end up in Tramore. He was so wayward. He'd even go across the Irish Sea if he got the chance. But he's straightened up fairly well. Like, I know he still takes a few chances at his jumps, but he has straightened up really, really well at the end of the day. I think another few runs over hurdles will definitely be beneficial to him. At the end of the day, look at when you're, I suppose, looking for value at the end, like for Cheltenham, I definitely think Goshen, the fact that he has proven to be virtually unstoppable, bar that fall in Cheltenham last year, you have to consider like 8-1 is going to be absolutely as short as you can get by the time Christmas comes. When you look, you could be, I suppose, on now at 8-1, and okay, we won't say till Christmas, but we'll say maybe till January or February, and he could be even money. Like, you are laughing your way to the bank at the end of the day. I definitely think he's going to be a very, very hard horse to stop over hurdles. He looks to be definitely much a force to be reckoned with. And 8-1 definitely looks to be the best value of the race. If you're going to be having it each way, like I said, the likes of Bouvier definitely deserves a chance each way, but he's really plagued by injury now, and he is getting on in life. It's going to be a very, very tough task to, I suppose, match an up and coming 5-year-old at the end of the day. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the champion hurdle. Now we're moving swiftly on to the champion chase. We are, I suppose, taking a bit of a chance here now with this one. We'll go through the market first of all. We're Chacun Poursois heads the market at 5-1. Altior 8-1. Defi de Soy 10-1. Politologue 14-1. Put the Kettle on 16-1. And the rest of the field doesn't really matter because either they're not good enough or they simply won't make it there in the day, or it's just not their, I suppose, overall target. Look, it's so hard to predict an anti-post horse for this particular race because the simple fact is the top of the market, they dominate in terms of quality, but they, over the past number of years now, the two of them have become so brittle. Chacun Poursois, I know Andrew Halligan has described him as being sponsored by Waterford Crystal. I couldn't really think of a better way to describe him. He just seems to find any way he can to get himself not fit to run. And if he does run, he definitely deserves that favourites tag. He is so, I suppose, he's underraced in terms of, I suppose, being exposed. Like, he's nowhere near exposed at all. Like, he's well and truly above his mark, in my personal opinion anyway. He has definitely got plenty of room of improvement. Altior definitely is the class act of the race, in terms of, I suppose, the record, more so than anything else. But he is, I suppose, the best chaser of the 2 mile division that this generation has had. Now, I'm probably going to step in a few corners here now when I say this. I do not rate Altior as a real, I suppose, superstar horse. Now, I want to explain what I mean by this. People are going on about Altior being the best 2 mile chaser of all time. When you put into consideration, he wouldn't even lace some of the greats' boots. Sprinter Sacra would have him for breakfast. Even with his dodgy heart, he would have him for breakfast. One man, he was a big ugly looking horse with big massive feet, but he'd still eat Altior for breakfast. Now look at the record he has is without doubt very, very impressive. But what has he beaten in terms of, I suppose, something along the similar lines of quality? Like, you see his races that he has come up against. He has beaten horses that are the guts of 20 or 15 to 20 pounds inferior to him at level weights. That's not really impressive in my personal opinion. I think in terms of overall, I suppose, quality, you'd be sort of expecting him to pull clear the field, but he just doesn't do that. Now, I know he does have his own style about him, but was it just that he's a similar style of horse to the fields that he's met, the likes of, oh God, like the likes of Politologue and everything else? I know Politologue is a reigning champion chaser, but I don't think that he should even be classed as a champion chaser. In my personal opinion, when you look at some of the champions before, he's definitely has to be regarded as one of the worst in terms of quality. But saying that, he is a champion chaser at the end of the day, and Altior has beaten him on numerous occasions, might I add. I think personally as well, he has seen his better days. The last time I was blown away by Altior was the time he beat Min in the 2018 champion chase. Or it could have been the 2017 champion chase. It was the one where Min was absolutely cantering up and he had actually taken the lead and Altior was in trouble, and all of a sudden Altior came up like a fighter jet and just absolutely swooped on by him. I definitely think he has seen better days since. The race against Surname was a complete disaster for both horses, not just Altior but Surname as well. I think that race should never have happened. Although it was a brilliant race to watch, I think it has taken its toll on both of the horses. At the end of the day, I just can't see either horse becoming the same standard as they already have been. Both of those horses are definitely there to be shot at. Both of those horses have since and have previously been plagued with injury. So the chance of those actually going are pretty slim, to be quite honest with you. Especially the fact that Jacques and Bourgeois, as Andrew Halligan would say, is made of Waterford Crystal, and Altior has had numerous of, I suppose, injuries over the past couple of years. You take those two out of it, the market for each way value is incredible. Defi Desai will go from 10 to 1 into probably 1 to 3 favourite again, like he did last year. Politolog will probably go into 5 to 1, 6 to 1 maybe on the day. Put the Kettle on will probably go even in at shorter. I'm predicting Put the Kettle on will be 4 to 1 on the day of the championship. Second favourite to Defi Desai, and the rest of them, they just don't matter at the end of the day. I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to say Put the Kettle on each way is a serious shout here for this one. 16 to 1 at the like I said before, without the first two in the market, if those two are taken out, you still get your 16 to 1 at full price. I think at the same place value as well. So if the horse is, I suppose, coming up against let's just say a 7-runner field. Now I could be totally wrong in this, but if it's coming up against a 7-runner field and you've it backed, say the time it was, say, paying 3 places for each way value, I think you still get that third place. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you do. I wouldn't be the biggest anti-post better, and I certainly wouldn't be the biggest anti-post each way better, but I think that rule stands. It definitely does for the price anyway. But when you take the first two out of it, which it should have a good chance of, I suppose, coming in, Defi Desai is going to go off favourite. If he turns up the same way he did last year, he's going to flop. And he did flop last year at 1 to 3 or 2 to 5, whatever price he was. That opens up the race massively. Politolog will more than likely go from the front, more than likely set the pace, and a very good pace at that. I feel Put the Kettle on will be, I suppose, tracking it in behind and I suppose pouncing late like it did in the Arkle. Really and truly, with the mayor's allowance, that is going to be a serious each way value. 16 to 1 will definitely not last, especially if the front two are taken out. On the day, if the whole lot end up, I suppose, running, Shaq and Poursuade definitely would be my choice for the race, but I definitely would be having a serious think to myself and definitely considering an each way bet for Put the Kettle on at 16 to 1 definitely looks to be the best value here. Now, moving on then, we're going on to the champion bumper. This one here is like a lottery. You may as well just blindfold yourself and throw a dart at the board to try and even come up with a winner for this race so early on. But we're going to, I suppose, take a look into it and see what way we're going to go. I've picked out just a few here. Sir Gethard or Gehard or whatever you call him, 12 to 1. Favourite, we seek him here, 20 to 1. Kilcruise, 25 to 1. Hollow Games, 25 to 1. Purple Mountain, 25 to 1. Deploy the Getaway, 33 to 1. And our selection here at 33 to 1, we are going to go with Dark Spark. Really and truly, I definitely think this horse has the most, I suppose, likely route for it going for the champion bumper. Gordon Elliott looks to definitely have a very nice sort here in this one. It was a very impressive winner in Kilbeggan last time out earlier on in the week. Won by, I think, 10 or 12 lengths at least, if not more. It was very green that day, looking back in the race. It just looked to be, I suppose, very inexperienced, but you'd be, I suppose, sort of expecting it with its first run. It met Dad's Lad, who you could, I suppose, argue as potentially being very frustrating. I definitely think there's an awful lot of these coming in from the point-to-point yards. The likes of Sir Gethard, Hollow Games, Deploy the Getaway. There's another mountain of horses coming through that have won one point-to-point somewhere in Ireland and they're listed inside in the champion bumper. It's so hard to predict who is actually going to win. Obviously, look, I'm more tied to the Gordon Elliott horses here. The likes of We Seek Him here, 20 to 1. And what's his name? Dark Spark at 33-1. At the end of the day, look at we seek him here. If he does go this route, will want softer ground, in my opinion. I definitely think he'll want it definitely very, very sticky and a very much a slog of a race. I don't think he's going to get it at Cheltenham, especially if I suppose the weather holds up like March should do, but trying to predict the weather at this stage is is totally impossible. It's like trying to predict the lottery numbers. But I think we seek him here is going to be going over hurdles this year. I definitely think he looks to be more of a hurdler than he is a bumper horse. He just looks like, don't get me wrong, he looks to be coming into his own, and I definitely think he looks to be, I suppose, improving with every run. But I don't think Gordon Elliott is going to hang around him for the bumper. I think he's going to try and get him over hurdles this year and possibly aim him at a novice hurdle race somewhere in Cheltenham. I don't know where he's going to go with it, but I definitely don't think, well, something about the champion bumper doesn't really scream we seek him here. For me, it definitely screams Dark Spark at the value as well at each way. But like I said, it's a very, very tough race to call. If you're going to be having a bet now, I'd say 20 cent each way would do you. Because at the end of the day, trying to predict a horse to go to a champion bumper, it's not really ideal, but trying to predict a horse is going to go to Cheltenham and run in a champion bumper is very, very tough and very hard at this stage of the year. If you're going to be having a bet, 20 cent each way will do you pretty nicely. Now, last race of the day, we're going to go with the Gold Cup. I'm going to try and finish this off fairly lively now because we're touching on half an hour now at this stage. We'll quickly just go through the market here now. We're going to go with Album Photo 5-1, Santini 7-1, Champ 10-1, Lost in Translation 12-1, Manila Indo 14-1, Top of the Game 16-1, Delta Work 20-1, Alaho 20-1, and Present and Percy 25-1. The rest are bigger and more than likely won't be going to the Cheltenham Gold Cup. I definitely think this looks to be in or around the whole field what you'll see in Cheltenham come March if they all stay fit. Really and truly, at the end of the day, there looks to be only one winner and one winner only here. We're going to go with Album Photo to, I suppose, match best mates record of 3 consecutive Gold Cup victories, and 5-1 at this time of the year definitely looks to be the most, I suppose, value horse of the day. Personally speaking, it looks to be between 3 horses for me. They would be Album Photo, Santini, and Lost or Top of the Game at 16-1. In my opinion, they look to be the 1, 2, 3 here. We'll go through the second and third here now. First, we're going to actually say Top of the Game is going to run in for second here now in the Gold Cup in March. I definitely think, he's definitely suited to this sort of race. If the ground holds up, he should be there or thereabouts, but he needs to improve a hell of a lot to get even close to Album Photo here. We know Album Photo is going to take the same route down. He's going to go to Tremor for one race and one race only, and he's going to head straight on the boat to Cheltenham. That's really and truly where he's going and what his prep run is going to be. Is it going to be the same prep, same result? I definitely think it will be. 5-1, I would be safe to say out of those 4 horses, that is definitely going to be the nap of the day. I cannot see how a horse is going to beat him out of that field. I think an awful lot of them need to improve. Santini, I think, is going to run on for third, and let me explain why. Santini definitely has the potential there. I know people say that he is unbelievable, and there's other people who say that he isn't worth two shakes of a cow's tail. But 7-1 isn't a bad price, but he needs to get racing sooner. He just seems to get lit. I suppose he just seems to light up once he runs past the finishing line. If he can do that, say at the furlong pole, and when he can get going, he will definitely put up a big fight to Album Photo. I've no doubt about it. He put in a bold sort of effort, and still he got going very late. But it's just all about waking the horse up. Like, he's just so lazy about himself. Like, he gives off the impression that he just doesn't want it. He just wants to, I suppose, look good and not actually go on to be, I suppose, the star of the show. But look at if I it's so hard really at the end of the day to try to predict who is going to run what way at this stage of the year. We haven't seen any of these horses running yet. Personally speaking, people are going to be talking about presenting Percy. Forget about it. He's not going to even come close to winning the Cheltenham Gold Cup. Personally speaking, I definitely think Gordon Elliott has a very nice opportunity to go schooling this lad over, I suppose, the strange obstacles and go cross-country racing with this lad. Who is to say that this horse wouldn't go on to be a very good Grand National horse? And you look at it this way, like, he did the same prep for Tiger Roll, who was, I suppose, labelled as a finished horse back in the day. He went for the cross-country race and he absolutely hosed up. Then went on to win a Grand National. Went on then again to Cheltenham to do back-to-back cross-countries. And then went on to absolutely hose up under, I think it was top weight in the Grand National. At the end of the day, look at, it's a great race to rejuvenate a horse and I suppose bring about, I suppose, improvement that the horse didn't know he had. And to even consider him for a Gold Cup, I think it's a wasted opportunity. People are going to be saying that I'm mad even expecting to see him going over cross country, but if I was Gordon Elliott, I'd be throwing him at these odd obstacles and seeing what way he goes. Maybe enter him into a cross country race in Punchestown, or I don't know, maybe go over to France, go to a cross country race over in France with him and just see how he goes over there. But forget about him in the Gold Cup. He's not even gonna place. I definitely think, and look at, he is a Galway favourite, and he was anyway a very much a favourite of mine growing up. But no, I can't even vouch for him at that price, 25-1. He's never going to run a race that's good enough to beat Album Photo in the Gold Cup. It simply will not happen. But yeah, Album Photo, we're going to get off the point of presenting Percy. I don't know why I went on such a rant, but yeah, Album Photo 5-1. It definitely looks to be the most, I suppose, value and the most dead cert of the racing festival itself. And I would be happy enough to say that Album Photo is going to be my nap at the festival this early on. Was it the 14th or 15th of October? 5-1 Gold Cup, get on. That's the way I like to say it. But look, I'm going to leave it there. It's a half an hour video. I'm going to cut it short there now. If you like the content, please make sure to like, share, subscribe. I'll be putting this into a Cheltenham preview playlist for, I suppose, YouTube. So say later down the line you can visit, say, the video again and I suppose refresh the memory. But they're the 4 champion horses that I predict are going to go on to triumph in Cheltenham next year. Thanks very much. Please make sure to keep liking, sharing, subscribing, and we'll be back again tomorrow for Ballinrobe Saturday. Thanks very much.